Hello, December. We've got Mercury still retrograde. Mars is going retrograde. Our sun will be transiting Sagittarius. We've got 2 new moons this month and so much more, my friend. Hey, welcome back to this video. We are talking all about the sidereal astrology for the month of December 2024. My friend, if we have not met yet, hello, Danny C. Muniz, intuitive astrologer, spiritual counselor, and we are going to talk all about what is happening in the stars this month because we've got some things I want to share with you. So we are going to dive in. Remember, you can listen to this over on the Cosmic Mystic podcast on all of your favorite platforms, including YouTube here, as well as if you are on the podcast, you can listen to this or watch this so you can see all the charts over on the YouTube channel, Keeping It Real with Sidereal. All right, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen now and let you see the beautiful chart where we kick off this month in the state of the planets. All right, so you can see here, let's see where everybody's at as we begin here on December 1st. We've got our sun and moon both in Scorpio. That's right, we kicked off this particular month with our new moon. And so we've got the both of them here in Scorpio. We've got Mercury over here, which is at this point conjunct the moon, but not during the new moon. It was not conjunct, but Mercury, as you can see, that red there signifies that it is retrograde. So we are retrograde. And I have, just before I move forward, I've had a couple of people ask me, like, what platform are you using for this? This is Luna. You can search Luna on Google and find them. They usually have actually like a Black Friday sale or usually a sale around the holidays, so you can get it locked in at a really good price for the year. I've been using Luna for, oh wow, probably about 7 years or so, maybe longer. Absolutely love it to show as, you know, kind of to you guys. I do use it in the readings that I do for people. But a lot of my back end information when I'm usually looking on my iPad on Time Nomad, and I'm looking on more of like a sidereal platform by Prometheus. And so Mastering the Zodiac is where you can find his channel, actually, right here on YouTube. Another really great sidereal astrologer. I would highly recommend him. He does use true sidereal astrology, which is slightly different. And so you'll see the 13th zodiac sign in his videos. But I do use his platform, Prometheus, on my, like when I'm doing my own research, when I actually later this month, when I look at the 2025 year, I will be looking at that through Prometheus. All right, so let's go back to our state of the planets. We've got, if we come over here, we've got our south node in Virgo. We've got Mars in Cancer. We've got Jupiter still in retrograde here in Taurus. Uranus also in retrograde in Taurus. Chiron retrograde in Pisces. We've got the north node here in Pisces. Neptune retrograde in Pisces. Saturn in Aquarius. We come up here and you can see we've got our Pluto and Venus. Pluto is still in Capricorn, my friend. Yes, again, if you have not seen some of the recent videos, we have not moved into Aquarius. It is not the age of Aquarius. We are still in Capricorn. Pluto moved into Capricorn in 2020, and it's going to be there for a very long time, my friend. Probably so long so that we will not be in this particular form in this life. Maybe another life, but not this one, that's for sure. And then we've got Venus in Sagittarius. All right, so that is our State of the Union. So let's go ahead and dive in to our sun. Let's see what's going on with our sun. So as we can see here, Our sun starts off with that new moon, but there's a couple of transits that are coming in. Now, these we've been talking about, the trine over here to Mars, the square over here to Saturn. We've been talking about that through November. So I'm not going to talk about it here because we've already been talking about it, but let me tell you about some of the new things that are coming in, like this opposition here to Jupiter. So this kicks off on the 2nd of December and goes through the 12th of December. So about 10 days here. This is where we are confronting opposing forces. Okay. So it's more of it's a turning point for us. It can be, we're wanting too much. There's a lot of how do I say this? A lot of wanting and over and possibly doing, because Jupiter's all about expansion and growth, and the sun is our consciousness. And so there is a lot of battle or opposing forces around wanting too much and kind of overdoing it, or on the flip side, not allowing ourselves to have, or not allowing ourselves to receive, not allowing ourselves to be in abundance, but really coming from a place of oh, I need this, I need this, I need this, whether that's material things, whether that's your friends, your partners. I need, right? This idea of need. If you've been kind of lazy or kind of chilling, I hate the word lazy because I really don't think that's a good word, but I get why we use it, but there's a lot of reasons why somebody may be lying on the couch not doing anything. There's so much more, right? That's behind that. But if you've been feeling non-motivated, let's use that word. That's a much better word. If you've been feeling non-motivated lately, you might want to feel like you're getting your things together, or let's kind of move things around, which is the really great placement of this, which I really like. And Jupiter, remember, is still retrograde, and it is in Taurus. So there is still kind of this chillin' kind of vibe hanging out here with Jupiter. Now let's move to this next one, which is on the 5th, I believe, with Chiron. There we go. Chiron's coming in here for a trine to the sun. This is really great opportunity to shine, shine, shine. So my friends, my fellow spiritual entrepreneurs, business owners, here we go. This is an opportunity for us to shine, to let our creative talents really be seen, really be witnessed. There's a path here, right? Because Chiron is our wound. It's our deepest wounds. And this is a way for us to move into a very empowered place in the spotlight of maybe what's been holding us back, or maybe part of our wounding, right? That we might have, and really being able to overcome that. So optimism and creativity really will help through this. I would also say if you want to get into that creative energy, this is a good time to do that as well. So drawing, artwork is really good, or crafting is really good. There's a lot of different ways that you can really bring that out during this time. And let's go ahead and move into our sun and Neptune, because the sun is going to make a square over here to Neptune on the 12th. Let's go. Here we go. All right. So when it moves over here onto the 12th, this is going to be, how do I say this? We're going to kind of slow things down a little bit here, because Neptune it's a little bit more of a slower paced physical energy, but more of an active dream or active connection type energy. And so let me explain what I mean by that. Here we are more motivated to be in a meditation, to connect to spirit, to connect to God, to connect to the universe, divine creation. We are more in the energy of wanting to connect with the ethereal and not the material. So it might be harder for us to be motivated to do things in the material because we might just want to be in the dream state. Now, there is good and positive and challenges to this. I don't see things as black or white. I see things as the perspective that we choose to use it with. So some of the challenges might be not motivated to do any work. And so you're wanting to just chill out. You're not wanting to get your work done. You're not wanting to be in the hustle and bustle of got to get this done by the end of the year or got to go do these things. So you might not be into that. The positive side of this is maybe sitting in meditation is what you actually need. Maybe slowing down is what you actually need, right? This is the energy of this time, at least, can be very chaotic and very destructive of our natural cycle. You'll see that we're going to be moving into winter season here on the 21st. And so as we move we're in fall and we've been slowing down, we move into winter. Winter is even more of a slowdown. If you think about it, though, that's actually when people are wanting to speed up. And so it goes against our natural rhythm. And so Neptune here is kind of bringing us into a little bit more of that, like, let's start to slow down. Let's really connect to what matters. And sometimes what matters is not the material thing. I would say a lot of the times the material thing is not what really matters. We work with the material because that's why we came here, my friend. We came here to understand this world and understand how to use the things of this world. So we don't ever want to get rid of the material. We don't want to just go live in a mountain all by ourselves and hibernate. That's not actually truly living, because living is engaging with others. That's why human connection is so important. The other challenge that we can have here is over idealizing things. So this is where I like to say we've got the rose colored glasses on. We are just seeing things as rosy posy. These are great. Everything's going great. Everything is lovely. Everything is beautiful. And yeah, that's probably not the case. There's probably some things that are happening underneath the surface or behind the scenes that we are just being oblivious to. And so just want to caution you that those are some of the things that can come up with this transit. And this transit is going to be here from the 12th to the 23rd. So right up to Christmas. All right, let's go ahead and move on to right here on the 15th. You'll see the sun moved out of Scorpio and moved in to Sagittarius. So let's talk a little bit about Sagittarius. I am going to do an entire podcast episode all about the sun in Sagittarius, what that means, just kind of how you can use it in your personal growth and your business. So the sun in Sagittarius, it's ruled by Jupiter. So Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter. So earlier I said this is all about expansion and growth and going big. That's very much the Jupiter energy, and that's very much the Sagittarius energy. Sagittarius loves to explore new horizons. It loves to both physically and intellectually do this. So not only is it like, let's go travel, let's go see the world, let's go do things, it's also from an intellectual standpoint. Let's expand our knowledge, let's expand our perspective, expand our awareness. And so I will often say during Sagittarius season, give yourself some freedom to explore some things, whether that's a new street that you've never taken before, go to a new restaurant that you haven't been before. My love and I the other day were driving and we ended up taking a different route than we normally do. for where we were going, and we're like, wow, had we not gone this route, we wouldn't have found this new restaurant that we want to try out. We wouldn't have found this new there's like this little mini golf place. We would have never have seen that. And there was this drive-in that we never, like drive-in movie theater, like that we never would have explored or known about had we not taken that back road. Now, this is something that you can definitely allow yourself to step into during Sagittarius season. If you normally, when you leave your house and you always turn right, try to turn left and see what happens. If you're going to the grocery store and you have this one path that you normally take, we are such habitual creatures. Try to go a different route. You'll hear me talk about this more as we get into Sagittarius season, but I just want to kind of plant that seed now is try something different. Expand your horizons, explore something new. Now, there tends to be more of a focus here on personal growth and self-improvement, because if you think about this, we're wanting to expand our knowledge, we're wanting to expand our minds. And so there is generally a focus on let's grow here. How can I be better, especially as we're entering the new year? I don't know about you, but every year, right around the holidays, the energy of like, oh, I want to do this in the new year, and I want to start this. I want to be better. This is all of that Sagittarius energy. There is such a desire for freedom and adventure here that it's just exploring all the things. So enjoy this energy of freedom and exploration. Now, I will say this. If you have not allowed yourself to have freedom and exploration, or for whatever reason you don't feel like you have freedom or that you can be adventurous, this can be a challenging time, because this is what's coming forward into our consciousness. And we're like, wait, but I can't do that. So one of the things I always recommend during Sagittarius season is define what freedom means to you. One of my clients, her top value is freedom. And so we have sat down and went through, what does freedom mean for her, and how does she define it, and how does she see that and show up for that in her everyday life, so that she is creating a life and a business that is revolving around this idea of freedom. That's one of the other things that we tend to look at during Sagittarius season is our core values. What do we value during this time? What do we value in our life? What do we value as we move through, right, this new year? So I'm going to say the last thing I will say about Sagittarius is there is a lot of optimism and enthusiasm, which is why you'll see we tend to set New Year's resolutions that are so big and extravagant, because we're in this place of like, I can do anything, right? Jupiter always wants to like push the limits, like how far can I go? And so because of that, it's going to push, right? It's going to do this little push here to see how can I do that? How far can I push that? So let's go ahead and dive into some of the other things that are happening. The last thing that I want to share with you and we're going to dive more into, remember I said, we're going to do a whole podcast episode on Sagittarius season as we get closer to this energy. But let me show you this next one, which is going to be a sextile over here to Saturn. So let me share my screen again. And this is going to come in on the 29th. So the very, very end of the month, you're going to see this sextile over here to Saturn. Now we have had, right? We had earlier this month, we had that aspect over here to Saturn. Now we've got this sextile over here. So let me tell you a little bit about the sextile, because it's going to come in here on the 29th and it's going to go all the way through that first week of the new year through December 10th. So we've got patience and discipline here. Saturn is that energy of slowing things down and really getting focused and determined. So this is where that patience and that discipline is going to come in, which I really love here at the beginning of the year, because everybody does tend to set these really crazy goals at the beginning of the year. I don't look at the year from the Gregorian calendar myself. I tend to look at it a little bit different. I actually use Sagittarius season as a business owner to be in the visionary energy of what it is that I want to call in for this next season, this next year. And then in Capricorn is when I actually set my goals. So I don't normally set my goals for the new year until the end of January, beginning of February. And if you think about it from the astrological year, our new year actually isn't until we begin Aries season, which in sidereal astrology really doesn't start till, right around the end of April, beginning of May. So it's, if you look at it from that aspect and you're like, I don't really want to set goals. I'm not ready to set goals. You're in the right place, my friend, because you don't have to set goals by the end of the year. You don't have to, day one marks the spot. You can start that whenever you want. All right. Some of the other things that we see here with this sextile to Saturn is really good at problem solving. So really good at like the practical or bringing practicality to things. Detail oriented items are also really good, or actions are also really good. There's a lot of loyalty and respect in our relationships where we can resolve some conflicts maybe that we've had, or just this sense of bringing stability to things, which is really nice. You might even be called into leadership or be recognized by other people for your knowledge. As well as a really good work ethic, because Saturn is really about getting things done, getting to work. It is all business, no play. Let me just say that. It is all business, no play, which, for some of us, we might need that, right? Might need that kick in the butt to be like, okay, there's been a lot of celebrating here all month. We've done a lot of things, and I'm ready to just kind of slow it down and get back to work. This is where that energy kind of comes in. And so we can also see this, right, normally every year. All right, let's go ahead and talk about our moon, because we've got a lot of things going on with our moon this month. So as I mentioned at the very beginning, we kicked off with this new moon here in Scorpio. So the new moon in Scorpio, really what I really kind of came to a conclusion with, when we look at the different aspects that are happening here, is it is a deep dive into our emotions, confronting our past wounds, and really embracing transformation. Scorpio is all about diving deep into things, unearthing things so that it can rise again. And that idea of the rising phoenix, right? Going through it to come out of it. So this is a really good blend of emotional challenges, growth opportunities, releasing those outdated belief systems, patterns, loops, reflecting on the past experiences into more deeply aligning with our true purpose, what we are here to do, which I absolutely love. And I felt it, or I'm feeling it myself, because there's this feeling of, getting back on track with my purpose. Not getting back on track to get back on track because I've been all over the place, but getting back on track and aligned to my purpose, to what I am here to do, to what I'm here to express and step into this lifetime. So this beginning of this month, I really love this because in that Scorpio energy, but really bringing, because of some of the aspects with this in particular, really bringing some of that idea around purpose, because it did have a trine to the north node and this a sextile to the south node, which we can kind of see here, but there's a little bit more to it. What I really want to talk about though is the full moon that's coming up, and then the second new moon. So let's go over to the 15th, which is when our next full moon is going to be, and this one's going to be early hours here. All right, so you can see we've got our opposition here, which means that's our full moon. And we've got a couple of aspects with this one. So the full moon here, you can see, is in Taurus, because we are still in the very edge of Scorpio season. So it's going to be the opposing sign, which happens to be Taurus. Okay. So Taurus is more of, this is how I like to look at these two together. Taurus is more of the material, the physical, and Scorpio is more of the ethereal, the intangible. So when we look at this particular full moon with that sextile over here to Chiron and that square over here to Neptune, there is clarity, grounding, and emotional healing here for us. So with Taurus, we're reflecting on our material world, our values, our stability. Taurus is really, stability is extremely important to Taurus, but also acknowledging the emotional healing, the intuitiveness, the ethereal, the spiritual side. So this is bringing a mix of the grounding practical energy with the emotional connections or emotional breakthroughs, releases because of that Chiron and square. So some things that I would invite you to explore with this particular full moon is the emotional wounds or insecurities that are ready to be released. So I do a full moon somatic breath work on our full moon. This will be the last time that I'm offering the full moon somatic breath work as a open invitation to everyone moving forward. Is now part of the Sacred CEO framework, which is in our new program, Sacred CEO. If you want to learn more about that, we do have a really good special going on where I'm giving you 42% off because it is an anniversary slash Black Friday slash holiday sale. This is my 8th year in business, and so I decided to have a anniversary sale and give you 42% off that new program. So if you've been wanting to get into a container where you can really learn more about how to use these natural cycles and rhythms, be more strategic about how you are showing up in your life and in your business, then this is the program for you. It's a year-long program. With that 42% off, my friend, it is extremely affordable, and I can tell you that it's one of the best things that I have done for myself in my business, is following my own natural rhythm, knowing what that is, knowing when to do things. So if you've been lacking clarity on, I don't know what the next step is, I don't know what to do, this program can absolutely help you, because we are following the natural cycles. We are working with the natural cycles in astrology. We are also going to be having a container for you to do some healing work and to get some strategy behind the work that you're doing. Because, my friend, as you know, there are tons of things that you can be working on. We're going to be very strategic about the things that we're working on. And then we're also going to be very clear about what it is we are working on every single month in our business, not so that it's very structured, but so that we have focus. One of the things that I know is that there's a million things that I could be doing in my business, right? This is what I love, to have the structure of astrology to really help me narrow it in on, these are the things that I'm doing during this season, these are the things that I'm doing during next season, and really planning that out every single month. So lots of deep reflection here, really working on that self-mastery, really allowing yourself to become a better version of you in life and in business. I'm really good at strategy, my friend. So if you're looking for some strategy in life or in business, right? And I look at the 4 kind of main things: the doing, why we aren't doing the thing or what it is that we are doing; the being, so who are we being and why are we not being that version of ourselves; the next thing is money. How are we showing up with money? Are we open to receive money? Are we open to allowing money to come to us? And then 4 is relationships. Now, whether that's a relationship with yourself, relationship with your clients, with your family, with your friends, we're looking at that energy of relationships as those 4 things, my friend, are if one of those things are off in our life or in our business, it just throws everything else off. And so we'll be looking at each one of those things as we come through this entire year. So I'm excited to open this up to everyone. It's something that I do in my normal everyday life that I found a lot of success with just helping me stay focused and clear in what it is that I'm doing, so I'm not scrambling around, and also give me the things, right? Because we need to be able to reflect, we need to be able to release, and we need to be able to align. And those are the three important things that we're going to be doing in Sacred CEO. So I'd love to invite you to come. There'll be a link down in the description and in the show notes for you for that as well. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at our next new moon, because we do have, as I said, we have another new moon, and that is coming in on the 30th. And this one's going to be later on in the day. All right, perfect. So we've got one nice little aspect over to here, and that is that sextile that we talked about with Saturn. So this is, how do I say this? This is bringing the energy of wisdom, the energy of growth, and growth from a very grounded, responsible place. So this is interesting because Sagittarius is like go big or go home. Saturn is really grounded and practical and let's get things on track. And Aquarius is bringing this fresh perspective, fresh ideas. And so this is really like allowing us to dream big and allowing us to go for the thing, but also remaining really anchored in reality. Sometimes I hear people, when I coach people, especially business owners, they'll say like, I want to make $1 million. And I'm like, yep, me too. Now, am I going to make $1 million in this year? Possibly. But what does that look like practically? Because when I look at it from a practical place, there's probably some things that I don't have in place to help me do that or to allow for that to happen. And so from a practical place, I also don't want to say like, oh, well, I'm only going to make 100,000. I can probably look at the numbers and be like, oh yeah, logically, I can do that, but I want to push myself a little bit more because I want to change the way I'm doing things, right? Because the only time anything is going to change is if we actually change the things that we're doing. So I can want to be in that expansive energy of like dreaming big. And I also want to look at it from a very practical place. And so this new moon is really allowing us here at the end of the month, beginning of the 2024-2025 year, in this place of expanded energy and being really optimistic, but also being very grounded. And so we can set some intentions around that energy when we get to that beginning of the new year. All right, my friend, that has been our moon. Let's move into Mars because we have a couple of things happening with Mars kicking off here at the beginning of the month. Mars is going retrograde. So we're going to come over here to the 6th here, and you'll see right here on the 7th, it goes retrograde. So let me tell you a little bit about Mars in retrograde, because Mars is the energy of drive, it's motivation. It really is that like really go forth and do the thing. It's the action oriented energy. It's the warrior. It's the fighter. Being in Cancer, it has been a little bit challenging, right? Because it's in Cancer, it's slowing down. It's more on the emotional front. So it is not doesn't want to be very active, right? From a physical standpoint. Now, connecting, nurturing, supporting, great. That's all been what we've been wanting to do with Mars here in Cancer. When it goes retrograde, and I was like, just want to make sure that I'm sharing my screen because I didn't think I was. All right. when it goes retrograde, it is going more internal. So we're going to go more internal here. So this is where we're going to slow down, and we're going to come inside to look at our internal processes, the internal things that we are doing. So this is going to be slower paced. This is going to be extremely sensitive. Inner frustrations, inner conflicts definitely are something that we can see here. Really great awareness or intuition. Doing the inner work is really great during this time. And so this is here from, let me tell you the dates on here, is December 7th all the way through February 23rd. So this is very end of the year, beginning of the year, we're going to see this really internal, introspective time when it comes to our motivation and our drive. So really looking at doing a lot of healing, which we will be doing in Sacred CEO, around the doing. Because as I said, my friend, it's one of the 4 things that as business owners and also in life that we can look at is why the things that we want, why we're not achieving the success that we want. It's usually in one of those 4 things. And so here we get that opportunity to look at, why am I not doing? Why am I not doing, the posting on social media? Why am I not doing the money-making activities that I know that are going to help my business move forward? Why am I not having the conversations with the people that I want to have the conversations with? Like, why am I not doing the thing? That's really, really important. Some of the things that you can do in business during the retrograde here is reevaluating your business strategies and goals, looking at how you can have more of a rhythm in your business around the work that you're doing. So really looking at, are you allowing that downtime for visionary time? Are you working on your business and in your business? And what does that look like? Looking at more the emotional, the EQ of leadership. So how are you looking at the emotional intelligence? So how are you managing that in your leadership skills, whether you're leading a family, or leading a team? And then also strengthening your internal communications. So whether that's with a team or whether that's within how you are communicating with your clients, with your community, like what does that look like? How are we communicating with others? Because Cancer is more of the family oriented energy. And so it's like, what are the conversations in the family, right? From a personal standpoint, that's kind of the energy here. Is there's an opportunity for us to kind of clear away some of the familial challenges that we may have, some of the ancestral challenges that we may have when it comes to some of these ideas. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at our next thing around Mars, which there's just a couple of things I want to point out. One in particular is on the 8th here, we are going to see this trine over to Mercury. So we can see this here. Now they're both retrograde, so I want you to keep that in mind as we talk about this, because Mercury and Mars together in the trine, they're very supportive energies. And so there's a lot of motivation or drive to have the conversations, to debate people, to, having this quick thinking, expressing your ideas or opinions. More so with this one, it's more so a little bit more assertively. Now, because they're both in retrograde, this is also an opportunity for us to notice some of the triggers that you may be having around certain things, of why people are saying things or how people are saying things. There could, some of that coming forward. Decision making is usually a lot easier here, and it's probably more of an internal process than an external process during this time, and just really having the confidence to express yourself or defend your position. There is the energy sometimes around this trine with Mercury where it's like I'm on the defense or have to defend something. And so that's an opportunity for us to look, right? Look a little bit deeper of like, why do I feel like I always have to defend? What is it about that, right? What are the beliefs that are causing me to be on this defense kind of energy? Now, the last one I want to talk about comes in over here on the end of the month on the 28th, and that is the trine over to Neptune. And so we can see this over here. Now, the trine to Neptune this is really harmonious. This is energy and imagination. This is where we get our more creative, artistic expression on. This is the intuition, the spiritual insights are coming through. So this is a really good time to be in that meditation, to slow down, to dream, to create, to be in the energy of manifestation, and really getting things in alignment from that perspective. So I would say this is probably like such a really easy, beautiful time. And because we're still going to have Mars retrograde and still in Cancer, I feel like this is really going to be a nice, easy transition into the new year here. So this will be all the way through January 27th. So it's got a nice month-long time here. Okay, now let's go into Mercury, because Mercury's got some things going on. There's a couple things I want to talk about. Mercury is still in retrograde, as I said at the very beginning. And so if we come over here, we've got, there we go. All right, so we've got this. First off, I want to talk about this square over here to Saturn, because Mercury and Saturn, they can have challenges. And so I just want to make sure that we are, that anytime we're talking about a square with Saturn, we always want to talk about that. Saturn here with Mercury is where we're able to get more of that mental work done. And it's kind of a time where it's like, I just want to be by myself. Like, let me just do my work. You're like all these other things, all these other people, like I need to focus. So if your friends are telling you like, I don't have time, that might be why. Or if you're feeling like, I don't want to hang out with anybody right now, could definitely be why. You're more apt to like just get in and get things done, and just really making decisions that are really grounded or practical here. So pay attention to detail here. This is something that, Saturn is really good at. The one challenge is negative thinking and misunderstandings. So some of the things that can come out is a little bit of that pessimism, that idea of like, you're out to get me. That could be a little bit of that here, that I do just want to caution you. All right, let's look at the next one, which is Mercury and Mars, which it's coming in here on the 8th. Mercury and Mars, we've got the trine over here. This is more of quick thinking. Oh wait, we talked about this one. I was like, wait a minute, we just talked about this one when we were talking about Mars. All right, this one is the next one I want to talk about. I'm just looking at my notes to make sure I don't forget anything. Okay, Venus. So let's talk about Venus, because we've got this sextile over here to Venus in Capricorn. So this is just a nice, fun, loving, expressive energy. There's less stress here, more harmony, more socializing, connecting, just win-win scenarios here. Everybody, this is great energy. And this is through the 10th through the 18th. I'm excited about this because I will be on vacation during this time. So I'm excited to be able to just have some fun, to engage, meet new people, explore my horizons as far as mentally and physically, going into a new place, exploring a new area and seeing what's there for me. So this is a really good one for some fun coming in right here from the 10th through the 18th. And then as we move forward on the, let's see, I didn't put the date here, but I believe it is, I didn't put the date in my notes. I want to say, there we go, the 15th. So on the 15th, the Mercury is going to go direct in Scorpio. So it'll be out of retrograde. The energy will be moving forward. However, we are still in the shadow period and will be in the shadow period all the way through the 31st, so the end of the year. So keep that in mind is yes, the energy is ready. It's going to start moving forward, but there can still be things that are coming up that you'll want to maybe resolve. So I want you to think about it as from this standpoint. Pre-shadow period of Mercury retrograde, that pre-period is all about things starting to come into our awareness, come into our awareness, come into our awareness. And then we get into the actual retrograde where it's like, okay, let's explore. Let's look at some of the things that happened in the pre, right? The pre shadow period. And then when we're in the retrograde, we're looking at those things. And then in the post, we are now starting to move forward with things. And really, what is it? How am I going to move forward now? What are the things that I'm going to do to move forward now? And then things are going to get tested. We're going to get tripped up. Some things are going to happen, and it's going to allow us to say, okay, this is how I said I was going to move forward. Am I moving forward in that way, or is the strategy that I had not the right strategy? Do I need to adjust it? And so it gives us that period to do that. So if you look at it from that standpoint, it's like, oh, okay, things are coming up into my awareness. I'm doing the deeper work, kind of understanding and deciding on how I'm going to move forward. I start to move forward, and is this going to work? Is this really what is going to be best for me? That's really the easiest way. So there's through that whole period, right, is learning opportunities for us. And so when we can see that as everything is happening for me, changes everything. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at a couple of the other ones. The one I really, really want to point out is one that's happening at the very end of the month, and that is on the 21st. So let me go ahead and pull that up and share my screen again. All right. And this is going to be this opposition here with Jupiter. Comes in on the 21st, and it will be all the way to the 1st. This week, I'm going to tell you, my friend, and we have like Christmas and New Year's in here, right? Take it off. Take it off if you can, and allow yourself to explore the big visions. Because of this and a couple of other things that I've said already, this isn't the time to really work. It isn't the time to go all in and really get things going. It's the time to sit and vision. It's the time to allow the ideas to come through. It's allowing you the time to explore, allowing you the time to challenge some things, whether that's internally or outwardly, but in a very like, I'm curious energy, not in the like, I'm wrong, I'm right, you're wrong, but in a very curious energy of like, I'm interested in challenging my perspective or challenging your perspective on something. The one thing I will say and caution you with here is that, again, we'll want to push a little bit too far, or we're going to go maybe, because we're going to want to push that boundary to see as far as we could possibly go. All right, let's go ahead and move on to Venus. There really is just a couple of things happening in Venus that I want to tell you about. Number one is the conjunction with Pluto. And so that comes in on the 2nd. So let me go ahead and pull that one up here. It starts here on the 2nd. We've also got a couple of other things that we have happening here. This trine over here to Uranus, which we've had for a while now. But let's talk about what that conjunction with Pluto is, because there's bringing in this intensity to our relationships. And so this is going to be from the 2nd of December through the 12th of December. So these first kind of 10 days in here. This is where emotional connections are going to be intensified. And so if there have been challenges or struggles in the relationship, this can really amplify that or it can lead us to do some, having some conversations, the hard conversations, the deeper conversations to really transform things and move things. There's a really strong desire for connection here, for intimacy, for bonding. And so there we could see this, especially if things maybe there's not a lot of intimacy or there have been some challenges or you're wanting more than maybe the other person does. Again, there could be some challenges here. And when we think about this, relationships, don't just think about like your partner relationship, maybe your intimate partner, your spouse, right? Look at your friendships, your family, those dynamics as well can come into play here. There is also some of the flip side of this could be some possessiveness, some jealousy. Definitely can feel like there's boundaries being crossed, or I feel like I can't trust. And again, this can happen on both sides. Again, depending, because it's going to amplify, right? Pluto's going to amplify this energy around the relationships. And so the positive and the challenges of Pluto is really stepping into our power, really stepping into the deep bonding and deep connection. And then the opposite side of that, the challenge with it is the manipulation, the jealousy, the kind of going behind, like the secretive energy. So want to be mindful of that. Now, the next one comes in later on in the month, which is, I believe it's the 19th. Yep, over here, the Venus sextile Chiron. Remember Chiron being our deepest wounds. And so this is a way for us to kind of embrace some vulnerability here, especially as it relates to relationships, the one challenge I will say here, and this is why I wanted to make sure this one was really put in here, because this is from the 19th through the 29th. And I'm somebody that loves the chick flicks. So I do watch the chick flicks, and there's always, they're always talking about that week. And it's probably this week right here in the holiday where you meet that person and this is your soulmate and all the things, right? One of the things that's really interesting here is this right here is an opportunity for us to kind of foster some of those relationships and wanting to, overcome some of those emotional wounds, really allowing ourselves to enjoy the company, enjoy the newness, right? That is here. Now, one of the things that can also be challenging here is there is some wounds, right? We do have a past and we do have things that we need to embrace or understand. And so there is, some of that as well that is coming through. So the last one I want to talk about comes in here on the 23rd. Maybe the 24th. Hold on. There it is. Okay. The square over here to Uranus. And this is just going to be in that very last week here. Uranus always brings in a spin on things, always gives us, tests us, brings, freshness, newness, unexpectedness into things. And so there could be some unexpected urges, events, or challenges within the relationship, whether that's an increased desire for excitement, that's maybe things have gotten kind of boring, or just, just kind of like status quo, and there's this need for like, let's change things up, let's do things different. This can also cause some conflict if there has been maybe some things that have come up, especially earlier in the month, with some of the things that were happening with Chiron, and also maybe even with some of that stuff with the Mercury earlier on in the month. So this can also, like, if we look at it from just in general, from just a general perspective, it's just really bringing us some new energy, some newness to things. And how can we do that? And being under, right, if we think of the background of having Sagittarius, there's a lot of that coming through here with the Venus energy, with the Pluto, with the Chiron, with the Uranus, of like, it's time to change things up. So if you're feeling like it's time to change things up, it doesn't mean that we go and do something really drastic. We can do something really simple of like just changing the flow up, even changing the way that we start our day. Just a little bit will make all of the difference, my friend. All right, this has been your Sidereal Astrology forecast for the month of December. Remember, this is our overview. And so each week we have a breakdown of what's happening that week. So I'll go more into these and tell you how they all kind of work together and what you can do, how you can use them. So be sure to stay tuned, subscribe to the channel if you have not already. If you're listening to this on the podcast, make sure that you are also following the podcast so that you know when new episodes come out. We have interviews over there around spirituality and people's journeys into spirituality. I usually do solo episodes as well on the seasonal energy, and I have some more planned out for this new year. So make sure you are following the podcast as well. If you would like to join us in Sacred CEO, I'd be so happy to have you into that new container for the new year to really dive more into a lot of these things that are coming up, where you have someone who can help support you in both life and business, because they both go hand in hand together. When I first started my business, I was like helping people in their business, and then I realized all the life stuff came up and was like, oh, okay, so we can't do business until if our life is in shambles, or if our life is doing great, but our business might be in shambles. And how do we work through that? How do we have both thriving? And so that is my goal, to help you, my friend. All right. That wraps us up. Have a great month. I'll see you soon in our next video. And until then, my friend, remember to keep shining your